Alright, so what we are going to do in our main function, the first thing that we are going to do is to have a dynamic memory allocation. The reason for dynamic memory allocation is to keep ourselves on the safe side for a large number of books maybe. Okay, so we will use a heap. So for that purpose, what we are going to do is to use the syntax used for the dynamic allocation. We will have the name as books, and this is going to be a pointer which will store the new keyword, and we will have new. And what does new mean? That we will have a library type array with the size of 3. Now you can make this size flexible, but for just simplicity here in this project I am just using 3 size. But what else you can do, you can write it as cout enter the size, okay, and then you will have integer size, then you will take c in size, okay, and you will put size here. So you can do that as well, but I am just doing it for simplicity, just to get you guys into the rhythm of understanding the concepts. And I expect you guys to modify this project more and more. There are a lot of features that can be added within this project. There are a lot of things that you can add, with the help of which you can practice a lot as well. And I'll give you some hints by the end of this project as well, but stay tuned. Okay, so let's now focus on our project. Now what we are going to do, the first aim is to take input from the user. Okay, so what's going to be the procedure? So the procedure is going to be this simple procedure: integer I is equals to 0 and I is less than 3. In the size case we will use size and I plus plus. And here what we will do, we will do that books ith index, and now have a access. What you are going to do is to take input function. So we will just simply call the take input function, and it will do its job by itself. Okay, so now let's run the program, whether will it run or not, and if we have some issues we will just quickly fix them. Okay, let's run this program. Okay, so we have some. Okay, so one very little mistake, that I have a file extension is C language and it should be like CPP. Okay, so I'll just rename it as .cpp. Alright, so now let's run the program. Okay, so the program runs, and I'll just, for testing purpose, I will write book 1, and I'll write author 1, and I'll write 1122, and I'll write 4. Okay, so it's working. Now here is another function that I am going to use that will make our code much cleaner, but I will use that in the end because I need this data. Okay, so for just organizing purpose and analysis purpose I'll need this data. Okay, but in the end I will add some function which will make the code more readable as well. Okay, now what we are going to do, we are going to have a while loop. Okay, so while loop, now what's going to happen, I'll have an integer, okay, or maybe I will have a bool type variable which name will be switch. Okay, not this switch but just sw. Okay, and sw will be equals to true initially, and I will write sw over here. Now what does it mean? It means that while loop is going to be true, so it will be just going on forever, but I am using this sw as my switch. So if I turn it off, if I made it false within my loop, it will turn off and we will be exited outside the loop. So I can make use of it. Okay, now what I can do, now first thing is that, do you want to print some details? Do you want to search? So what I will do here is that we will have some integer data, integer check variable cout. I will quickly write this code, okay, and then let you know. Okay, Alright, so here I have a simple code in which I have written some texts. One to check data, two to make purchase, three to return restore. So we will make use of this check in switch case statement. Alright, so it took me a bit of time to reorganize the code because there was a need of slight change. The change that was needed, that was that I thought of it that if we have found the book, let's say we have found the book here and we will return true result, okay? So if the true is written, what I will do with true here, I have to call the loop again in order to determine the outputs of each individual books. So what I did instead, I used a bit of another logic, that is that instead of returning true, it will return the index position at which the book has been found. Now when it returns the index position, so we can make use of that index position and we can print all the data available related to that index book. Okay, so in this way we have to call the loop only one time, not two times. Another advantage of this was that I can make use of -1, so there is no -1 index. So if the function returns -1, that means that nothing was found there. Okay, so this is a bit of logic change here. Okay, so I hope you guys got my point. Now here we will check if temp is not equals to -1. So that means if the book is found, then print all the data related and on that index. Okay, and if it is not found, then print the message book not found, and we will break out of this case. All right, so we will use this concept for the other as well. Okay. Alright, so we have created the other two cases as well. As you guys can see, it was just a copy paste of the previous code. The only thing that we changed here is the method that we are calling. So for purchasing book, we are calling the purchase method, and for returning book, we are calling the method return book. And in case of print, we are just calling the print. The logics are same and the functions and methods are different. Now let's have a test drive of our program and let's see does it work or not. Alright, so we have some indel missing, I guess. Yep. Okay, let's run the program again. And the test drive is running, so this means that we will be able to take some input from user. Okay, so book 1, author 1, 1122, copies 5. Okay, so everything is going on all right. Now one thing that I am going to add in our output function, that is going to be total books available in the library, because we have to check that as well. So total books. Total books. Okay. Okay, one more thing that I am going to do. So instead of taking the inputs again and again, you guys know that how can we take inputs. I'll just make it easier for myself that I'll make use of the constructor. So we have made the constructor, so that means that we can write the values directly with the help of constructor. So that will be fixed values, and I'll not waste my time in entering the values again and again. So we have checked it, it is working properly, and we have verified that it is working properly. Now we have to check the switch case statement. So for that purpose I am going to have some fixed values. Okay, so let's go. First of all, we will have books at first index. I'll just put the values and then let you guys know. Okay, okay, so I am back here with some fixed values of my book names, the author names, the ISBN numbers, and integer number of copies as well. So here I am making the use of my constructor. So this is how you will use the constructor with the arrays. Okay, so you will write the array index, and in front of it the class name, and within the class you will write the parametric sequence of the the values. Okay, so string 1, string 2, whatever the string 3 is for, so you will write in a perfect sequence. All right, so now instead of writing the names again and again, now it's easy to check our these switch case statements. So let's go and check it. All right, so let's check our while loop here. So let's go. Okay, so first of all we will write some random book name. So this is going to be a book 1. Book 1 doesn't exist and it got into infinite loop. Why it got into the infinite loop? That is a good question. The question is that we are applying our loop for the cin check. Okay, so here what the compiler is expecting an integer value. So if I write any kind of something like non-integer value, it will go into the infinite condition. So this should not be happening, and this is going to be your homework, that how you can solve this error. So it is just a logical error, there is no syntax error, you have to just rearrange your logic. Okay, so you can make use of types of data, you can switch around the integer names, you can play with it, and you can solve this issue. But we will just insert 1s and 2s and 3s. Okay, all right, so we will enter the book 1. So book 1 not found. Now let's try to have our check data for the alchemist book. So alchemist book. All right, so we have got the output on alchemist, Paulo Coelho, whatever the name is. 978 is the ISBN number, available copies are 5, and total number of books are 10. Now let's have a look, does the total of books are 10 or not? So this is 5 plus 2, yes it is 10, and we have got 5 books. So the output was totally correct. Okay, now what we are going to do, we are going to make a purchase, and after that I will check the data again. So let's make a purchase. 2. Enter the name of book. We will make the purchase of alchemist. Okay, enter the quantity. Okay, so enter the book name equals to alchemist, enter the quantity, purchase successful. The purchase was successful. So where the quantity came from, let's check our function again. Okay, so here we are not using cin, so due to which we had that error. Okay, now it will be right. Let's run our program, and we will be using, okay, here we are good. Now let's run. Press 1 to check data. So we will write alchemist. Okay, we have got the data perfectly right. Then now what we will do, we will put to make a purchase. Okay, enter the book name, we want alchemist to be purchased. All right, enter the quantity is 2. Not enough stock. Okay, not enough stock. Why not enough stock? This is the question. Now let's recheck our. Okay, let's recheck our function. Okay, so not enough stock. If quantity is greater than or equals to, all right, the quantity should be less than or equals to copies. You see, there will be errors coming out. It doesn't mean that everyone has to be perfect. So when you try to run the program again and again, so these are the test phases. Okay, so we are testing our program right now before the final deployment. Okay, so let's run our program again. Okay, we will change the quantity symbol here as well. Okay, we do not need it here. All right, so let's run our program. What's the input? We want to make a purchase. Directly we will make a purchase. An alchemist book. Enter the quantity we want to. Purchase successful. Okay, purchase is successful. Now the data should print remaining books 8 and the remaining alchemist books 3. Okay, so if it is correct, then our function is working perfectly fine. Okay, so let's have a look. Okay, let's try to check data 1, alchemist. All right, let's have a look. Yep, it's totally working and we are getting 8 books. So it is totally working. Yes, okay, great. Now let's make another function call. So here we will call the return or restock. So we will type in 3. Okay, enter the book name. I want to return alchemist. Okay, so enter the number of books to be added or returned. I want to return 3 books. Okay, 3 books. Let's say 3 books. Okay, now let's check the updated data. Book name alchemist. It should be 11 total books and 6 alchemist books. Okay. All right, 6 alchemist books, 11 total books. That is totally working fine. And now let's check our last switch case, which is 4, and it should exit out of while loop. So it was fun making this project. I know this video was lengthy. I don't know whoever made through the whole video, and if someone has made it, I salute to you, brother or sister, whoever you are, and let me know in the comments whoever watched the complete video. I guess this was a learning experience for you guys making this project and thinking about different things, and the task for you guys is to modify this code and make it better. Apply such conditions that would not result into an infinite while loop as it happened with us as well. Make some changes to overcome that. Okay, so you guys can play around with this project, add some more methods, remove some more methods, modify some methods, add some other functionalities, so you can play with it, play with the code, you will learn more. Okay, so this was it from this project, and I hope you guys have learned a lot in this lesson number 7 class. So from the next video, we will be talking about the 4 pillars of OOP, object oriented programming. So until then, goodbye.